Hello, here's how I beat a 1600 player. I am rated at about 1300. And here we go. My opponent is playing white and I'm playing black. He first with the king pawn. I replied with my knight. He went with his knight. I replied with the pawn. And with the knight. Took that one. Firing that knight, and it ran away. Brought the other pawn. So I'm controlling the center. It brought to break the center. I wouldn't have it. Make sure that I pin that knight. Blocks it. Releasing that knight. And I then pin the other knight. And he castled. I took the knight off, double pawning him, and then I fired on that knight. He brought his rook there so that he can actually check on me. I blocked that. He took it, and I took his bishop. He took it with his rook. Then I castled. Then he threatened my pawn there, which is a free lolly for him. But I blocked that. Came and threatened this. I wasn't scared. I just removed his knight. He came and took it with his pawn, and then I moved my pawn so that I can make sure that all those pawns are secure. Then he fired on my rook there so that I can remove it and he can take my pawn, but I was not scared. I just went up, took I think he should have taken the one on the other side. That would have given him enough time to take the pawn, but he didn't do it. So I just grabbed that pawn, and then he brought this is another area where he tried to fire on my knight, but that actually gave me time to go and threaten his king. So I took my knight over that side. He brought this to break the center, but I was concentrating on his king, and that was it, because I brought my queen there. Now there was a checkmate, and to block it he needed to sacrifice his queen, which he did, and I took it gladly. And then he took it with his rook, which was another bad mistake, because that made me because he was afraid that I might take his pawn with my queen with a check, but that made me check him as well, and then took the rook as that, and then he took this, I took him, and he tried to free his king, but I wasn't having it. Brought my other attacker, and he came there, and then I checked him, and then I took the pawn, and then he came to try and take this, but I just came and checked him again. He ran away, checked him again, and that was the end. That was a checkmate.